Welcome to First Word, where we are striving to make God's Word your first priority today. In Proverbs 3, 9, and 10, honor the Lord with your first possessions and with the first fruits of your increases, so your barns will be filled with plenty and your vats will overflow with new wine. Today's principles for the new year is to acknowledge God's daily provision. Solomon's statement in this verse is to honor the Lord with your possessions. To do this, we must remember that everything belongs to God. Since everything is His, we are simply entrusted as stewards to care for these possessions. We must not forget that it is God that gives us the ability to work, for it is in Him we live and move and have our being. As a steward, we can honor the Lord with my possessions by using them to honor and glorify God from day to day. But the writer gets specific when he tells us to honor the Lord with the first fruits of all our increase. In giving back the first fruits, we acknowledge that God is the one that gave us the ability to earn the money that we have. It is God that sustains our life so that we can work and provide. The most practical way we can do this is to give God the first cut of our paychecks. Although in our society the government may take their portion out before the check is received, we can write the first check to our local church to give back tithes or 10%. We're told by Christ in Matthew 22:21 to render to God the things that are God's. In Malachi 3:8, the prophet made it clear that the tithes and offerings were God's, and to hold them back would be to rob God. The promises to those who will obey and honor God with their possessions is abundant blessing in their income. Yet this cannot be our motive. One writer clarified this passage by saying, the word translated honor literally means heavy. Such giving shows how highly you value God or how weighty you consider Him to be. Giving is also an act of gratitude towards God, who has given us all things. Giving is an act of faith. When you give generously, you are expressing confidence that God will meet your needs and that you won't regret your charity. It is also important to give wisely. Many religious organizations clamor for money. Some make spectacular promises of worldly prosperity and health for their donors. Other people who seek our charity are poor because of their laziness and should not be helped. When you give foolishly, you are not giving to God. Remember, acknowledge God with your possessions by being a good steward and giving back what is already His. Thank you for joining us at First Word. May we all be honoring God with the things with which He has blessed us.